So grade 12, make sure you stay right close to the mic. If you get too far back, it'll start to ring a little bit. Okay, we are going to start right at 1:15, just in a minute or two. We're just making sure it's actually streaming up at the window up there. Zach, are you wearing those shoes to grad? Good. Nice. Yeah. Couple people coming in. Yeah. 312, 20. Okay, I think we can get started. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. We had said 1:15, so we wanted to wait and give everyone a chance to get here. But welcome. This is our fourth and final day of speeches. So far, they have been phenomenal, and we've got 8 speakers today who we really look forward to hearing from. This event is an annual event, and it's grown to be something that's quite beloved in our school. It is a highlight of the year. Great opportunity for our students to speak on a topic that is of their choice. It's not prescribed. And there really are not that many opportunities in our lives, for many of us, to have such an opportunity to speak to a wide audience about anything that is on the heart. So this is a great opportunity for them and an opportunity for us to hear from them. This is also the way that Aberdeen Hall chooses to fulfill the grad transitions requirement for BC graduation, asking our students to give some thought to where they've been, where they're at, and where they're going in the future, and show that that thought process has occurred. So hopefully we see that today. I know we will. We previewed the speeches, and there's some really, really good ones coming up. The format. So this is the only time I will be on the stage until the very end. I'll introduce our first speaker, and then they will watch the order. They'll come on up and introduce themselves and launch right into their speeches. So again, thanks for joining us. Thanks to those of you who are watching it online. And our first speaker this morning, can you please welcome to the podium Mr. Aaron Fox.
I'm Aaron Fox, as you already heard. So, everyone is passionate about some aspect in their lives. Many people may be passionate about multiple things. We all have hobbies, jobs, and activities they put a majority of our effort into. Much of one's outlook on life is molded around this aspect. For myself, I couldn't pick one specific aspect to talk about because everybody's shaped by multiple things that make us individuals. However, there's one lesson I believe carries itself through all events in our lives, and that is that failure is needed for success, and mistakes help us grow, learn, and become better people. All hindsight is 2020. Looking back on one's past, there may be things that you'd like to change. Luckily, through my mistakes and failures, I've always had 2 role model parents to help me back on track. Between pushing me to do my best and learning from the outcomes to giving me excellent advice, they managed to never be wrong. Kind of funny how your parents are always right, isn't it? Well, after 18 years, I finally started to listen. These 2 role model parents in my life provided me with many superb opportunities and an excellent lifestyle. Some say you don't know what you got until it's gone, which may be true in some cases. However, you also have to try and never take anything you have for granted. I always remind myself to appreciate the beautiful and peaceful place that I live in, but unfortunately, I've also become somewhat accustomed to this beautiful lifestyle, which means I'm going to have to work hard in my future if I want to upkeep this lifestyle I'm happy with. Another lesson that has stuck with me and been a main source of influence in my life is best described by the proverb, laughter is the best medicine. However, there's also another quote that I'd like to, that really resonates with me, and that's by Robin Williams. See, the problem is God gave men both a brain and a penis, but only enough blood to run one at a time. No matter the situation, humor and comedy always makes it better. One of the best ways to turn a negative situation into a positive one is through comedy. Now, if anyone here has met my dad, you probably know he's quite the comic. Now, going through life and being able to laugh and see the light side of things is definitely a recipe for happiness. One honorable trait that all comedians possess is that they're not afraid to take a risk, even if failure is a very high possibility. They are easily susceptible to rejection, but they're also fast learners. And we all know that practice makes perfect. Now, you also don't have to be a clown to have a good sense of humor. If you're able to understand, perceive, and appreciate others' attempts at a joke, by definition, this gives you a good sense of humor. This, in my book, is just as important as being able to tell a joke. Another concept in my life that corresponds with learning from your failures is sports. In sports, you work as a team and experience loss as well as success. Being in a team is important because it teaches you about relying on others. And if you fall, they're always there to pick you up, vice versa. If they fall, you have to be there to help them, just as they would have for you. Learning to understand there's equality and equity between the players and their responsibilities will help you connect with others when you're not on the field as well. When I ask the reason for playing, when I ask somebody the reason for not playing a team sport or they don't like it, they usually say, "I don't like to feel like I'm letting others down." Well, that's not a very good excuse in my opinion. These people fail to understand that if you're on a team, everything that happens in a group effort. So if one person fails, everyone fails and everybody learns together. If one person scores or wins, everybody scored working as a group. I guarantee that this person or whoever couldn't have won or scored without the help of and support of the others on his or her team. Considering the fact that this person couldn't even have played the sport without the other people on his team is also a big contributing factor. Furthermore, I don't believe this only relates to sports, but all physical activity. If I were to ask you what the most important thing to bring to a gym was, what would you say? A water bottle? A book to track your progress? Your pre-workout drink? Well, all these things are highly suggested so you can make more gains. The number one thing you think you should bring to the gym is a partner. A partner will push you to do your best through competition and positive reinforcement. A partner will motivate you to set high standards. I find when exercising with others, I don't only have to have a better time and get a way better pump, but I also am able to learn what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right. Now, what many people will find is that working hard and doing your best will produce a result you can be proud of. The amount of effort and how much you apply yourself to a task determines the outcome, and the results will affect this. Getting good grades will directly influence your mindset and how positive and confident you can be in the rest of your life. Overall, doing well not only in school, but everything will make you feel better, be more confident, and it will make it easier to continue to excel in everything that you do. I was considered an average student in grade 10. However, I decided that it was time to make a change if I was going to be happy with my post-secondary education. I decided what I wanted to do, and then once I had a goal, I put myself to the test. Goals are important in all aspects of our lives. Looking forward to an event or striving for an objective gives us purpose. I did not succeed at being a great student at first, but I pushed through the failure and learned from the mistakes I did to reach a new standard I didn't even know I was capable of. Now that I'm in grade 12, looking forwards to university, of course no one's prepared to the change from high school to university, and I realize that disparity between the two is significant. However, there's also steps that you can take to prepare yourself adequately. For example, setting good habits such as studying when a teacher doesn't even put the direction towards you will make the jump from university to high school much easier. Nevertheless, the future will continue to be increasingly difficult in all aspects of your lives. Once I leave university to endeavor in a new career, doing my job to the best of my ability will take perseverance and discipline. Failure may occur at first, but if you use it as a resource for your own knowledge, any failure can turn into a learning experience. I believe that what separates you from extraordinary and ordinary, other than the extra, is the effort you put in. If you put your mind to something and you truly believe it, I think you can achieve it. Oh, and I also totally think that you have enough blood to be successful at that.
Hi, my name is Olivia Koenig, and I'm here to tell you that you will never do anything perfectly. Harsh, right? The truth often is. Unless you are a statistical anomaly, there is more than likely one person in this span of time who is better than you at what you do, who works a bit harder than you, who is just in general greater than you. And that's wonderful, isn't it? The fact that none of us will ever be perfect at what we do is the greatest reason we could ever have to keep going and never be afraid of making mistakes. We have been given the perfect excuse to try our hardest and shoot for only things we really love. This opportunity for striving to do what you love is a relatively new concept, a marvel of modern society, if you will. The developments in technology have meant most people are interconnected. You don't need to follow in your parents' footsteps and do what it is that your parents did, whatever job they had. There is not an exact slot you need to fill. People today are encouraged to break the mold, to innovate, to rebel, striving for more than just a white picket fence or a nuclear family. If we were here 100 years ago, I'd likely be seen as incredibly strange, standing up here as a woman who is about to graduate high school and move on to higher learning. I have been given a great opportunity, and now I've come to the time where I get to choose what I want to do with that. And that's exciting, but also scary. One thing my grandma and my dad have both always told me is that I should do what I love. There's no point in doing something that does not make me happy, which is actually incredibly hard to narrow down for someone like me. I'm very indecisive. It takes me a solid 20 minutes to choose between two types of snacks and another 3 hours to decide what type of movie I want to watch. Which, with this added stress and all these doors open to me, it's just very hard to get my interests locked down because my interests like to be passionate and quick. And my answer to the question, what do you want to be when you grow up, is answered with something often brash and off the top of my head. Oh, I want to be a vet, a zoologist, a cop, a criminologist, an actor, a singer. So what is someone like me supposed to do when the entire world wants me to choose a future? I simply say, okay. I am here, standing on the edge of my high school career, and I am more excited than ever. Because I know I can always change my mind. It's fabulous. If I am not happy somewhere, I can back out. I can change and do something that I actually enjoy. There's no shame in starting fresh. Starting fresh because even if you're starting at the rock bottom and you're the worst person at your job, if you enjoy it and you put time and effort into it, you can improve. Of course, this doesn't stand with all things, such as neurosurgery if you don't want to go to school, which I do not highly recommend, but less life-threatening things can be far more rewarding if you simply put time into them. A great example of this comes to the side of academics, with which I admittedly lean more towards, the arts. Although there's admittedly one or two genetic advantages one can get when it comes to the arts, like perfect pitch, one of the easiest ways to get ahead is by putting your heart and soul into your work, and pushing and practicing until you get where you want to be, and then pushing even past that. Do you want to learn how to draw a hand? Sit down and study the shapes and the anatomy of the hand until you get it right and are satisfied, and keep going above and beyond that. Do you want to get better at acting? Look up monologues and practice them in the mirror until you learn how to convey those emotions. But it is also the basis for doing something that you love, getting where you want to be, and also starting over. Mick Jagger was supposed to go to business school, not be a singer. But he took that leap and he started over, and he worked his way up from the bottom. I admittedly will probably never, be a Mick Jagger, a household name, or anything of the sort, but that's not what I'm striving for. I don't look at a celebrity and go, wow, I wish I was as rich as you were. I look at them and go, I wish I got to do what you've got to do. I wish that I got to make people smile. This is what I love to do. That is what I'm going to strive for, and that is what I believe in. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kate Hanlon, for those of you who don't know me, and first I would just like to say that I've been listening to the speeches all week, and they have been humbling and inspiring, and the bar is set high. In a few weeks, we will put on our caps and gowns, and we will become adults. Are we prepared? Absolutely not. We know how to differentiate equations. We know how to label a diagram of the digestive system. We know what the green light in the Great Gatsby represents. But how do you file taxes? Do shirts with white and black stripes go in the dark load of laundry or the light one? Who knows? We don't. As children, we look forward to finding out the secret to adulthood. Our parents and our teachers were mysterious and all-knowing beings that could drive cars and bake cakes and vote in elections. Now that we're almost there, we found the secret to adulthood. No one knows what they're doing at all. One day, your mom won't know the answer to a question in your homework. One day, you'll realize that teachers can be wrong, that doctors can misdiagnose, that the people who run our country are figuring it out as they go along, just like the rest of us. And that's terrifying. We want, desperately, to live in a world where everyone, or maybe just someone, knows what they're doing. That's the comfort of religion, the idea that there's some greater power with greater knowledge and a greater plan instead of all of us just stumbling around in the dark. So how do we do it? How do we live? More importantly, the question that lurks in the back of our minds is, why do we live? Why do we put ourselves through the stress and the exhaustion and the heartbreak of life? Why are doctors constantly searching to prolong life when there's so much that is bad in this world? We don't live because it's easy. We don't live because it's fun, or not all of the time anyways. We live because it is important. We live because we've been given this precious chance to do something, and we cannot throw that away. That's the thing about knowing the secret to adulthood. No one knows what they're doing, and that induces both despair and hope. No one has all of the answers. There is no all-knowing Gandalf or Dumbledore who will show up and provide insight that will suddenly make everything clear. But that means that you're just as qualified to change the world as anyone else. Maybe that neurosurgeon also has to panically call her mom in the grocery store to ask, where did they keep the vanilla extract? Maybe that senator has to redo her parallel parking every time. If you donate enough time and energy to something, you too can do great things without any glorious revelations. My mom asked me a couple of weeks ago when I became so ambitious. When I thought about it, I realized that I couldn't remember a time when I didn't have grandiose plans for my future. If you ask a little kid what they want to be when they grow up, they want to be an Olympic athlete and an astronaut and a veterinarian simultaneously. When I was 7, I wanted to be the Pope. I wanted money, power, and the ability to help people, so being the Pope seemed like a good option. I was then told that the Pope is generally male and Catholic. I would never let society dictate my career based on my gender, but my distinct lack of Catholicism proved to be too big of a hurdle. As we grow up, we realize how hard it is to achieve our dreams, so many of us just give up on them. The boundless optimism of childhood turns to realism, which turns to cynicism. When we realize that this is all we get, that we're now supposed to be qualified for adulthood, we panic, and that self-confidence is sucked down the drain. Like it or not, though, we are graduating. We're moving out and moving on, and we now have to create for ourselves a place in this crazy world. No one knows what they're doing, and though that is petrifying, it's also empowering. You're not alone in feeling vastly unqualified, nor should you let that feeling stop you from doing anything that you want to do. This, I truly believe.
Hi, for all of you who don't know me, I'm Brianne, and I'm here to talk to you about what I believe in. Coming up with what I wanted to say to you all was very difficult. You would think being asked what your passion is would be a simple question, straightforward, but for me it wasn't. In taking some time to reflect, I soon came to the realization that more than anything, it's been my experiences in school that have shaped me into who I am and will continue to influence me well into my future. So, this I believe that attending both public and private schools have greatly contributed to me becoming a strong-willed person. As a result of my schooling, I am confident that I'll be able to navigate whatever life has to throw at me. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. I'm 18 years old and I used to live in Alberta with my 2 older brothers and my parents. I went to public school there where I played sports and hung out with my friends. I then moved to Lake Country at the beginning of grade 9 and started at Aberdeen. My life both changed drastically and stayed relatively the same. I still participated in sports, hung out with my friends, and attended amazing school, even though the atmosphere was a bit different. But with these differences emerged many life lessons and skills. Private school gave me a competitive edge, support, opportunities, and vast amounts of knowledge. Public school gave me my drive, persistence, social skills, and strength in character. I'll never forget my time at public school. Like most people, school has been both the best and the worst times. But attending a larger school with more students opened me up to more than I could have imagined. This large group of diverse students gave me confidence, showed me tolerance, and possessed me with social skills that'll carry me through my life. Both public school and private school made me driven, persistent, and a tiny bit competitive, in the most unlikely of ways. I didn't learn these skills in the hallways or classrooms or even in the cafeteria, but when I sat down and reflected after attending both schools, I saw my shift. I gained my drive by observing my classmates. I was able to see and live both sides of the spectrum of academic achievement. That's how I became persistent to try my best, knowing I could always do a bit better no matter what I did, and that's how I became competitive. As we all know, Aberdeen is a great school when it comes to academic material, creating opportunities, and supporting students, not only in both your current and future academic aspirations, but they are phenomenal at just supporting you with anything you need, and for that I'd like to thank all my teachers, not only for the never-ending support but your assistance in shaping me into who I am. I feel blessed having had the privilege to attend both a public school and Aberdeen, fully soaking in not only what the classroom lessons, but what the school has to offer as a whole. I can confidently say I wouldn't be the person I am today without one or the other, and it's hard to imagine what my future would look like had I not had the chance to attend both types of schools. Thank you for listening.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Brooklyn Ashworth. So without a doubt, my sisters are the most important people in my life. I have been lucky enough to be blessed with 3 loving sisters. Before Liberty was born, there were 3 of us, and for some time I was the youngest. Growing up, my 2 older siblings, Chelsea and Taylor, strongly influenced my character and helped me become the person I am today. They have helped me become who I am, and I am proud to stand alongside such strong, powerful women. They have shown me what it means to be independent, compassionate, and determined. I firmly believe that my sisters have helped to shape me into a better person. Taylor has taught me what it means to be independent and the importance of this quality. From a young age, Tay has always been her own person. I have watched her become the outgoing and fun-loving person she is today, which has always inspired me to enjoy all that life has to offer. She doesn't simply live, she thrives. I have always looked to her as a role model. She exemplifies everything I aspire to. Taylor is exceedingly smart, exceptionally caring, and always knows to live her best life. She is also the bravest person I know. Moving across the country by herself has been the peak of her independence thus far. Not only did she excel in her academics, but she also took time to have fun. She has shown me anything is possible with the right value system. There are times I have felt insignificant, and in these times of difficulty, I look to Tay. We tell each other everything, and I can't imagine going through life without someone there promising me everything will be okay. My oldest sister, Chelsea, has shown me the value in looking on the bright side. She is undeniably the happiest person I know. She is one of those few lucky, charismatic people where being around her just simply makes you feel good. On top of her positivity, Chelsea has this intense determination. She accomplishes anything and everything she sets her mind to. She has truly risen to every challenge in her life. She has raised 3 beautiful girls that I couldn't be more happy to have in my life. It is an honor for me to be a role model to them as my older sisters have been to me. Through her, I have learned the importance of work ethic and looking for a silver lining. More often than not, there is good to be found in every situation, and Chelsea is to thank for my conscious efforts to look for all things positive. Although my sister Liberty is younger, she has allowed me to grow in ways I could have never foreseen. Up until the time she was born, I had never been too patient. Being the youngest, I didn't have to share much. She taught me patience, and this lesson has been one of the greatest, and as it has helped me in every aspect of my life. As I've gotten older, the more I've come to realize just how invaluable the lessons my other sisters have taught me. They have given me the chance to learn from both their mistakes and personal triumphs. I have nothing but endless love, compassion, empathy, and loyalty for the incredible, strong women in my life. They are all incredibly talented, and I couldn't have asked for a better support system. There is no bond as strong as the bond between sisters, and I am excited to continue growing alongside them. Having three very opinionated sisters has taught me how to stand up for myself and be confident in who I am. I believe they have made me who I am. I have Tay's independence, Chelsea's resilience, and Liberty's joy, and my mother's unwavering faith in all of us. This I believe.
Welcome, graduates, friends, and colleagues, to this joyous occasion. Thanks for coming today to listen to all of our speeches. As some of you may know, my name is Ryan Cito. It's my pleasure to have the opportunity to address you today. To me, graduation is an important milestone in my life. After graduation, I'll be soaring out into the world with new dreams and inspiration. I'll be able to spread my wings wide and fly. I will explore the world around in pursuit of my goals. My time at high school has been a really unique experience. It was unique because although there were many obstacles I had to overcome, by overcoming these obstacles, there were also many rewards. I remember when I was 16 years old, I made the decision to move to Canada. This was difficult because my friends felt abandoned at my previous high school. Also, my parents believed it would be a risk as I have never visited Canada before. They feared it would be difficult for me to adapt to a new country during my high school years. However, by conducting research online, I found many other people enjoyed Canada and all the opportunities that the country had to offer. Some of these opportunities include more various post-secondary programs, as well as the opportunity to work on my English, because learning that language would be beneficial to my future endeavors. I made the decision to go despite my own anxieties about leaving my home country. When I came to Canada, I experienced different challenges that were unexpected, such as making new friends, as well as studying English literature, which I found really different than studying just the language itself. This is because understanding that literature requires historical context that Canadian grew up learning, but I had to learn on the spot. For example, when we were reading about the poem about the dirty 30s, I did not know what it was. However, regardless of those hardships and challenges, I never regretted the decision that I've made. This is because the things that I have learned and experienced were better than I expected. For example, I got to experience the holiday of Thanksgiving. I had the opportunities to try turkey and spend time by celebrating this cultural event with my family. Through this experience, I realized they are rare and precious opportunities, and I know I've made the right choice. It trained me to be fearless when it comes to challenges, and it taught me that I should never be a disclaimer, even when you're about to give up. To overcome some of these challenges that came with moving, I talked through some of the anxieties I was having with my teachers in the first 2 years. The teachers here have been so unbelievably supportive that I cannot give enough thanks to. This year has come to such a quick end, and it's hard to understand how time can move so quickly. Speaking of time, Henry, my best friend, thanks for making my time at high school worthwhile, and I found friendship is all about quality, not quantity. I'm lucky to have you, and will miss you if we go our separate ways to different universities. And to our teachers, thank you for so unselfishly sharing your time, talent, and knowledge with me. Yes, I know it was your job to do it, but what you did for us, for me, went beyond the call of duty. You took the time to explain assignments, sometimes repeatedly because I wasn't paying attention. You allowed us to come to your classroom after school for extra help when you could have gone home to spend time with your family. You put in the effort to make the lesson more interesting so I wouldn't tune out. You demanded the excellence from me, whether or I wanted to give it. You set the bar high and challenged me to live up to it. To our custodian staff and lunchroom attendants, thank you for keeping our school clean and safe. You know better than anyone else what slobs we have been. You actually deserve some kind of medal. To our principal and vice principal and all the office staff, thank you for keeping things running smoothly so our teachers could concentrate on us. We're better off for it. To our guardians and counselors, thank you for listening and trying to keep us on the right track for graduation. Without your help, some of us may not be graduating today. As you can see, behind each graduate there must have been at least a dozen people providing support in at least a dozen ways. The best way we graduates can show our gratitude to make the most of the opportunities we have been given and go forward to the world into the world with the intention of making it a better place for our generation that follows us. But before we found a success, there's one more obstacle I had to overcome during my high school, and that was finding out who I am as a person in regards to who I am currently. All I can say is that I'm not quite sure still. I'm a high school student for the time being, but that is coming to such a quick end. I'm a friend, I'm a son, but are those what makes up an identity? Having access to education, found that there's definitely more to it than that. But being forced to take an elective, I found that I'm a designer with abundant creativity. Maybe I might be able to use this design technique in my future. But being forced to take social studies, I found that I'm a huge nerd for historical politics. Maybe I will be a politician one day. By taking a law class, I realized that law is quite interesting and not as boring as I thought it would be. And having the opportunity to explore this aspect of my identity has been so rewarding. As having access to education, I now realize is an opportunity. From this, I believe opportunities is something that is precious and should be cherished by all of us, especially in regards to education, because opportunities is not always going to be given to you so freely. So when you have the opportunity to explore your own identity, whether through education or another route, don't ever let that obstacles inhibit you from taking that leap of faith. As for my hopes for the future, I found that psychology is a subject that I want to learn more about because it is something that I've been interested for so long. But most of all, when it comes to my hopes for the future, I just want to be happy. Before I end the speech, I want to quickly thank my mom and dad for his immense support during my high school years. It must not it must have not been easy to raise a child like me, but thanks for trying. I think I turned out okay. Thank you for supporting me more ways than it's possible to count. You helped me with my homework, paid my school fees, and listened to my complaints. You came to my play and you commiserate over my daily dramas. But you tried to give me enough space to learn how to work things out for myself. This was just a few of the dozens ways you support me on my journey. I also want to wish each and every one of you success in whatever endeavors you choose to pursue. While I will likely never see many of you again, I very well may become lifelong friends with somebody hearing this right now. I can't wait to work with the class of 2017 graduates one day. I know that even though others don't believe so, we as a generation have so much to offer to the world. I know we are going to do great things and we couldn't be more thrilled. I hope your dreams takes you to the corner of your smile, to the highest of your dreams, and to the windows of your opportunities, and to the most special place your heart has ever known. But do remember, so many of our dreams at first may seem impossible. Then they seem improbable, and then when we summon our will, they soon become inevitable. A dream you dream alone is only just going to be just a dream, but a dream you dream together, then that will make it a reality. So go confidently in the direction of your dream and live the life you imagined. Thanks again for coming and listening to my speech. I wish everyone all the best in their future. Good luck.
Good morning, teachers, parents, and fellow students. My name is Henry Swater, and in 2014, I left the blue skies and white beaches of Ferris, Cape Town, and arrived on the shores of the Okanagan Lake, with high hopes and not quite sure what to expect. My entire childhood, I had attended an exclusive boys-only school called Bishop's Diocesan College, modeled on a very proper British system. I was accustomed to formal attire and would attend chapel every morning along with another 1,000 boys in uniform. What I took with me most from Africa is the warmth, the vibrant color, and the slow, contented rhythm of life. I loved the music, the humanity, and the compassion that comes so naturally to people in Africa. From an all-boys school, I moved to British Columbia, where schools have both boys and gorgeous Canadian girls. I must say, I must say that I was pleasantly surprised. I saw that each country and culture has its very own beauty as well as its shortcomings. We must decide to embrace the best in life and always move forward. I threw myself wholeheartedly into the Canadian curriculum, staying after school many an afternoon to master my courses to the best of my ability. This took effort, discipline, perseverance, and especially patience, on the teacher's part, that is. It astonished me how hot the summers are here, as it is Canada after all. One of the most memorable summer moments was training for the Across the Lake Swim, an internationally recognized open water event. My dad and I trained continually in the lake, and needless to say, the Okanagan water was absolutely freezing. This initiative stood in my favor, as I placed 36th out of 1,283 participants. Swimming in the aqueducts and skiing at Big White kept me fit for over the winter months. Trout fishing and hunting in Canada has also been an exhilarating experience. Then came the sense of financial freedom that comes with earning a salary. I worked at Summerhill Winery in the Upper Mission, pruning vineyards and packing the cellar with hundreds of bottles of wine. Needless to say, I worked up quite a thirst. I also worked on the organic farms, doing everything from cattle herding, maintenance, planting vegetables, to clearing mounds and mounds of chicken manure. My favorite job, however, was working at the Eldorado Marina, situated on the spectacular Okanagan lakeside. My parents often tell me how I must do what I love. Well, this job was the epitome of what they said. I would wake up every morning excited for the day ahead. No matter how hard or strenuous the day was, I would go to sleep in happy anticipation of the following day. It was thrilling working outside in the full sunshine on the lake. My duty was to refuel the sports boats, as well as to service the luxury 35-foot yachts and cater to their owners. On one occasion, a magnificent boat rolled in for servicing. I was the sole person on duty, and my heart immediately began to beat faster and faster, but I was loving every moment of it. They asked to be refueled and said that they had phoned and placed an order in at the restaurant. Now, from where I was standing, I was on a huge wooden platform that was raised off the water, and the Eldorado Hotel and Restaurant lay 200 feet in the opposing direction. So I ran inside to ask about their order, and the manageress handed me the meal in a takeaway bag. I ran back to give the 5-star meal in a duffel bag to them, the contents probably consisting of a cordon bleu with caviar in God knows what reduction. The owners thanked me with a laugh and told me they had ordered a case of beer as well. So I ran back to the restaurant to get the liquor, but as it turns out, I was underage, so I could not serve any alcohol to customers. Anyway, in the end, I ran back and forth for at least a kilometer, finally delivering the goods. The owner of this luxurious boat and awe-inspiring yacht thanked me profusely, and the man was so impressed with my hard work that he told me to come work for him any time, showing that hard work pays off. This year at Aberdeen Hall has been incredibly valuable, and I am grateful from the bottom of my heart to have been a pupil here. I have made many lifelong friends, soon to be university compatriots at UBC. A trip this year that has really enriched my life was when Rolf, Liam, Jadine and I visited China, where we visited the Great Wall of China, the Emperor's Palace, the Eternal Forbidden City, Shanghai, Beijing, and Nanjing. We managed to survive poisonous pufferfish, fried locusts, and huge fried black scorpions, amongst many other exotic Asian cuisines. The Aberdeen Hall teachers have been incredibly valiant and unwavering in their support and ability to put up with my mischievous behavior. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And carpe diem, I intend to seize the day and my destiny with all the strength that I humanly possess. I hope to make my parents proud and thank them for their unending support and resolute determination. To all my peers that have accompanied me on this magnificent adventure, my sincere appreciation and thanks goes out to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, I can just tell you right now, mine's not going to be that funny. So, for those who don't know me, I'm Zach Burton, and yeah. Okay, I'm not going to lie, I kind of wrote this speech expecting like there to be way more people sitting here, so I kind of have to. The start doesn't really work out, but that's okay because I'll just change it. Now, I think if you went around the school today and asked probably like every student at the school, all the way from grades 7 to 12, and you asked how many of them wanted to be here today, I can almost guarantee a lot of them would say, no, I don't want to be here today. And I think if you asked your teachers, they'd probably say that as well. Now, here's what I asked. Do they really not want to be here today, or do they tell themselves they didn't want to be here today? This is what I believe as a generation, we have a large problem, is that we're inherently negative, and we look for the worst of any situation. Now, too often I hear the sentences, oh my god, I hate chemistry. Sorry, Mr. Hooper, I don't know where he is. Or, oh my god, I hate school. And it's on repeat like a broken record. And for what purpose? It doesn't make your day go by faster, it doesn't make your grades higher, and it especially doesn't make you happier. So why, myself included, do we always talk about everything we hate? Several studies have even shown that through a strong placebo effect, we can take up to 5 years off our life from negative thinking. So not only are we just making our day boring, but we're also kind of killing ourselves. You also have to think of this social image it brings with you too. I think we all have that one friend or that one person we know that's always talking about everything they hate. Just, I hate this, I hate that, this is boring. It's annoying and tiresome. And it's unfortunate, but if you're that person, that's the way people are going to think of you as well. A couple more things, then I promise I'll stop being negative. I think we all need to ask ourselves too, do we really hate math? Do we really hate English? Or do we really hate school? Or does it just take a little bit of our time and we don't necessarily want to do it? If it's the second answer, then I think we need to realize that it's okay for things to be difficult and that it's okay for things to take up our time. If you go through life telling yourself you hate everything that slightly inconveniences you, then you grow up to be a very sad and angry person. Now, being a sad and angry person and perpetually negative, you start to reward yourself for actually seeing the negatives in situations. The amount of times I've heard, oh, that test was stupid, or what's the point of studying? I'm going to fail anyways. It's shocking. And I admit, I've even done it myself. It's just something that seems to be ingrained in us. But that kind of negative thinking makes us happy with our poor results, because it's what we expected in the first place. I don't think Tom Brady goes into a football game saying, wow, what's the point of even throwing the ball? I'm going to lose anyways. He's won 6 Super Bowls or something? I don't even know. It's futile, and it just sets you up for failure. Okay, now I'm done with being negative. How can we fix it? Personally, I think the answer is simple. Think positively. Okay, it's not that simple, but I've done it, and I encourage everyone else to start trying to do it as well. The moment you wake up, you could think about, It's easy to wake up dreading your alarm clock, dreading getting out of bed, and dreading going to school. And I can imagine that probably doesn't make you very happy. Why don't we get up and look forward to an amazing hot shower? Look forward to seeing your peers at school. I hope these people are your peers. And realize how lucky we are to go to such a beautiful school on beautiful land. That's only 3 small things that we can look forward to. And it was just at the start of your day. You still have the rest to be happy. We can look forward to our favorite class, a good lunch. We can even look forward to the fun of the weekend. as long as it's in a positive way and not just grudging being at school. Now, I'm going to contradict myself here, but try not to always just look forward to things, but be happy in the moment as well. Realize that math or English or even any other class might be boring to you, but at least we get the chance to exercise our brains and gain knowledge, a privilege that less than half the world indulges in. Try to actively learn in that moment, and you'll forget you're even bored in the first place. It's like lying to yourself in a positive way. We always think about what we have to do next, but not what we're doing. For example, I want everyone to take a look around. Look at the Great Hall. Look at the mountains. Look at the lake. It's beautiful. How often have we done that? We should try to be happy with what we're doing at any given moment. Even eating things like your lunch. Don't just eat for the sake of eating. Enjoy the flavors and the smells of your lunch. Enjoy the chat with your friends. All these tiny little things, they really add up, and they make a huge difference. Now lastly, and I think most importantly, when you're winding down at night to go to bed, I want you to all reflect on your day. This could be a negative thing if you choose it to be. If you choose to think about how much getting up in the morning sucked, and how much school sucked, and how much your homework sucked, then obviously you're left with a negative impression of your day. And that only carries on to the next. If you reflect in that moment and think how nice that hot shower was in the morning, how much fun you had with your friends at school, or even just learning something new and interesting in your classes, then you go to bed feeling fulfilled and content. And that only carries on to the next day, and the next day, and the next day. Soon enough, you don't even have to think positively. There'll just be no negatives to think about. I want everyone to leave this speech today and at least remember one message. It takes one person to choose, and I repeat, to choose to have a good day. Positivity is infectious, and I hope your choice spreads to other people so they choose to have a good day as well. It isn't huge, but maybe one day we can all live happily. Thank you.
Awesome. So that concludes our speeches today. I'm amazed how much wisdom and insight comes out of our students. So can we give them one last big round of applause? Thank you. So thank you, grads. We really appreciate that. Thank you for all of you who came out. This is a fantastic event. We look forward to our grad trip next week and grad the following weekend after that. So lots coming up really in the next little bit. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day. Picture. Can the 8 of you please proceed out?